Just hit. Just go pow. Welcome, everybody. My name is Jason Murray, coming to you live from the University of Pacific in Stockton, California at Bill Simon Field. Today we have a softball matchup, a non-conference matchup between the Pacific Tigers and the UC Davis Aggies. Pacific comes in with a record of 13-33. They are 2-7 in the West Coast Conference, while UC Davis sports a record of 17 wins and 22 losses, and they're 5-7 in the Big West. Pacific is 21-13 all-time against the Aggies. UC Davis, however, beat the Tigers this year in February, 10-1. And last year, the two teams split the season series, one game apiece. The Tigers have won 3 of their last 4, and they look to wrap up this 5-game homestand with a win here tonight. UC Davis coming off a 3-game sweep of the Big West Conference foe, UC Santa Barbara, and they look to continue their winning ways here today. Let's go ahead and go with the starting lineup for the UC Davis Aggies. Leading off for the Aggies will be the shortstop, Krista Costello. Batting second will be the left fielder, Brianna Warner. Batting third will be the first baseman, Amy Nunez. Batting in the cleanup spot will be the designated player, Alexis Carney. The right fielder tonight and batting fifth will be Ashley Lodazinski. Batting sixth and playing third base this evening will be Kelly Zabrowski. Batting seventh and playing center field will be Krista Beva. Batting eighth, Katie Robertson, and she'll be doing the catching. Batting ninth will be Alexandra Sotomayor. She'll be playing second base. And on the mound for the Tigers this afternoon is Marissa Young. The outstanding freshman is 5-4. She has a 4.50 ERA. This is her 8th start of the season and her 19th appearance. Around the outfield for the Tigers, we'll have Molly Bourne in left, Sarah Anderson in center. The right fielder is Tony Santos. And the first pitch from Marissa Young is a ball. Thank you for joining us tonight. At the plate for the Aggies. And that ball's in there for a strike, and the count's even now 1-1. Krista Costello. On the season, Costello's batting .333. She started every game for the Aggies this year, and she takes that pitch outside for ball 2. Costello on the season has 40 hits and 128 plate appearances. And all of those 40 hits, only 3 of them are more than singles. She's got 2 doubles and a triple. The rest are all singles for Krista. On deck for the Aggies is Brianna Warner. Around the infield for the Tigers, Cassidy Gustafson at third, Melanie Habib at short, Nicole Zapatowski at second, and over at first is Alex Steinmel. As that pitch floats in there for strike 3, and down goes Costello here in the top of the first inning. Nice pitch by Marissa Young. That floater just cruised across the plate, and Costello was just standing there frozen. Now up for the UC Davis Aggies, Brianna Warner, the left fielder. On the season, Brianna is batting .276, and she takes the first pitch from Marissa for a ball. On deck for the Aggies is Amy Nunez as Marissa Young. And that pitch is outside for ball 2. The catcher for the Tigers, catching Young, will be Rachel Sellers tonight behind the plate. We welcome you here to Stockton, California. And that pitch is right across the middle and called a strike by home plate umpire Martin Vandenberg. The umpires around the infield over at first, Randy Gowdy. At third base, Jim Bertuzzi. The 2-1 pitch on the outside corner for strike 2. Maybe they're just trying to figure out what Marissa Young's pitches do. They're just taking a lot of pitches here in the top of the first. Let's see what Marissa does here. 2-2 pitch. And that pitch is grounded to third, picked up by Gustafson on to first for the second out here in the top of the first inning. 2 up, 2 down. And now coming up for the Aggies, the right-hander, Amy Nunez, the senior first baseman. On the season, she's batting .271. She also has played in started and played in every one of the Aggies games. And that first pitch is outside, on the outside corner for strike one. On deck here with 2 outs is Alexis Carney for the Aggies, as Nunez puts the bat around, and she lines that one into left center, and that one's down for the first hit of the game for UC Davis. As Nunez rounds second, they get the ball in. She stays there, and a nice piece of hitting, and a single for Amy Nunez. And they're 2 down with 1 on here in the top of the first. And stepping into the box is a designated player for the Aggies, Alexis Carney. Carney on the season, batting .291. She does have a couple home runs. She's driven in 21 on the season. So she's a dangerous hitter for the UC Davis Aggies. She takes the first pitch outside. Carney, only a sophomore. Nunez over at first. She has 1 stolen base on the season. And that pitch is on the outside corner for strike one. The home plate umpire, Martin Vandenberg, gives a delayed signal, so I'll be calling it as soon as I see it, if I don't call it first. In women's softball, the people on base cannot leave the bag until the ball has been released and that pitch is dropped by the catcher, Rachel Sellers, a little bit too hard to handle, and going down to second is Amy Nunez, and which will be a pass ball on the catcher. Yeah, the base runners can't leave the base until the ball leaves the hand of the pitcher, but once it does, they can get their lead, and if the ball gets away like it did there, they can head on to the next base if they so choose. The 2-1 pitch, swung on and missed for strike 2. With 2 down and a runner at second, Alex Carney with a 2-ball, 2-strike count, looking to drive in that run with a base hit. Marissa Young trying to get out of the inning here. That pitch is on the inside and called a ball. So now the count's full here in the first. On deck, hoping to get a chance, Ashley Lodozinski. The full count pitch from Marissa Young. Swung on the ground to second base. Up with it is Zapatowski on to first for the third and final out. And that's going to be it. The UC Davis Aggies get 1 hit. They leave that runner stranded. And coming up for the Tigers in the bottom of the first. So come on back. Welcome back to Bill Simon Field on the campus of the University of Pacific. It's the bottom of the first inning. We're going to go through the starting batting order for the Pacific Tigers. Leading off and playing center field is Sarah Anderson. Batting second, the left fielder, Molly Bourne. Batting third, Nicole Zapatozny. Playing second. Doing the cleanup hitting is Cassidy Gustafson. Batting fifth, Rachel Sellers. Batting sixth will be Sydney Laners. Batting seventh will be Alex Steinmel. Batting 8th will be Melanie Habib, and batting 9th will be Tony Santos. And on the mound for the UC Davis Aggies, making her 5th start of the season with a 4-1 record and a 6.10 ERA in her 16th appearance, Andrea Reynolds.
Leading off inning for the Tigers, center fielder number 12, Sarah Anderson.
As Sarah Anderson steps into the box. On deck for the Tigers, Molly Bourne. And that first pitch is lined in the left, or hit on the ground in the left field. And just like that, first pitch swinging, Sarah Anderson ends up at first with a single. And the Tigers start off the game in good fashion. Around the outfield for the UC Davis Aggies, Brianna Warner in left, Krista Bava in center, Ashley Lodazinski in right. Around the infield, Kelly Zabrowski, the shortstop, Krista Costello, Alexandra Sotomayor at second. Amy Nunez is over at first. Doing the catching is Katie Robertson as Reynolds with a big windup delivers the first pitch to Molly Bourne is a ball up high. Molly Bourne, the freshman, is coming off a hot week in which she batted .462. She had 6 hits, drove in 4, and she had a couple doubles. And the 1-0 pitch, and that pitch is inside as Katie Robertson checks down to first, but Anderson gets back in there. On deck for the Tigers will be Nicole Zapatozny. And the pitch, the 1-1 pitch. Or actually the 2-0 pitch. It looks like they called a balk. Or actually it was the 2-0 pitch. The pitch came inside and Sarah Anderson stole second, and now they're having a conference on the mound. 3 straight balls to Molly Bourne after giving up a leadoff single. The coach is coming out just to calm down Andrea Reynolds just a little bit. Molly Bourne on the season batting .324. She has 4 home runs, and she's driven in 30 for the Tigers. And that pitch is in there for a strike. So I guess the coach went out there and told her to throw a strike, and she did. And the count's now 3-1 with Sarah Anderson at second base. Molly Bourne waits for the 3-1 pitch. And that pitch is taken for a ball outside, and running down to first goes Bourne with a base on balls. And the Tigers have 2 on here in the bottom of the first with nobody out. And stepping in is Nicole Zapatozny.
For the Tigers, second baseman, number 7, Nicole Zapatozny.
Zapatozny on the season is batting .292. She's played in and started every game for the Tigers. She has 7 home runs, and she's also driven in 30. So she's a dangerous Pacific Tigers hitter. And she squares to bunt, and it bunts it foul here at the plate. And the count's 0-1. Trying to move the runners up. The number 3 hitter. Tigers with an early game threat with 2 on and nobody out here in the first. As Nicole puts around the bunt again, and this time she gets it down. Picked up by the catcher. On to first for the first out here in the inning. Jumping out on it was Katie Robertson. She got it in time down to Nunez for the first out here. But moving up to second goes Molly Bourne, and heading over to third is Sarah Anderson. And a nice sacrifice by Zapatozny.
Third baseman, number 74, Cassidy Gustafson.
And come to the plate, the cleanup hitter for the Tigers, Cassidy Gustafson. Gustafson on the season's batting .242 and has played in and started every game for the Tigers as well. She takes the first pitch from Reynolds, in there for a strike. Takes a while for that home plate umpire to make his call, so bear with us. As Cassidy Gustafson waits, the 0-1 count with runners at second and third. Reynolds pitches, and that pitch is taken for strike 2. I guess I'll figure out the umpire's motions here. They're slow and deliberate, so we'll see how it goes. I guess if he moves at all, it's probably going to be a strike. If he doesn't move, it's probably just going to be a ball. So a 2 on and only 1 out here in the bottom of the first. That one's hit down to third, scooped up nicely by the third baseman. Kelly Zabrowski got it on 2 hops, and then she got it in time to get to Katie Robertson. Coming down the line, trying to score with Sarah Anderson. She went around the swipe tag. It looked pretty close to me, like she might have missed the tag. So the third base coach for the Tigers is talking it over with the umpire. They don't usually change calls here, so I guess she must have been tagged on the shoulder or the arm as she was coming in. Either way, that's the second out of the inning. On the fielder's choice, Gustafson ends up at first, and out at the plate is Sarah Anderson for the second out. And now batting for the Tigers, Rachel Sellers, the catcher. Sellers on the season batting .218. The Tigers now with runners at the corners. Over at third is Molly Bourne. She advanced on the fielder's choice. And over at first is Cassidy Gustafson. And that pitch floats in there for strike one. The 1-1 pitch here with 2 down in the bottom of the first from Andrea Reynolds is driven by the first baseman, Amy Nunez. Coming in to score is Molly Bourne. The Tigers have taken a 1-0 lead here in the bottom of the first as Rachel Sellers knocks in an RBI. For Sellers, that's her 9th RBI in the season.
Now batting for the Tigers, designated player number 44, Cindy Lawners.
Coming up now for the Tigers is a designated player, Cindy Lawners, the freshman, with the Tigers with a 1-zip lead here in the bottom of the first as Reynolds delivers. And that pitch floats outside for ball one. Lawners on the season batting .221. She has 3 home runs. She's driven in 15. So she is a dangerous hitter as well. That 1-0 pitch is in there for strike one. Cassidy Gustafson's over at third, and on at first is Rachel Sellers with the single and the RBI. As Sydney Lawners waits for the pitch. The 1-1 pitch is on the way. Ooh, she held her swing up, and that pitch floated outside and high. And the count is 2-1. With 2 down here in the bottom of the first. Andrea Reynolds trying to get out of this inning. That pitch is lined into right. The right fielder couldn't see it. She kind of fell over. Looks like she's in some pain out there in right. She hasn't gotten up yet. Coming in to score 2 runs for the Tigers is Cassidy Gustafson. Right behind her is Rachel Sellers on the 2-out double by Sydney Lawners. Very unfortunate situation out there in right field. The right fielder tried to make a move on the play. The ball was hit hard, and when she moved to her right, she collapsed right after she had started to move. So hopefully she's going to be all right. They're attending to her right now. We're going to take a little break, and then when we come back, hopefully she'll be still in the game. At this point, the Tigers are up 3-0. Come on back. Welcome back, everyone, to Bill Simon Field on the campus of the University of Pacific. The game is in a little bit of a delay right now. The right fielder here for the UC Davis Aggies, Ashley Lodazinski, fell down going after a ball that was hit out to right field. Now she's running, doing some sprints out in right field. Looks like she's going to be able to stay in the game. She's a gamer, and that's good. The coaches went out there and attended her, and looks like she's going to be all right. She's going to come in and meet with the rest of her teammates on the infield, and now she's heading back out there. And the UC Davis Aggies are still at full strength here. The Tigers have taken a 3-0 lead. Kind of an unfortunate play for Lodazinski. She went to make a break on the play, and then she must have lost her footing and fell down. Unfortunately, during that, while she was down, the center fielder had to go over there and retrieve the ball. And by the time they got it in, 2 Tigers had scored, and ending up at second base was Sydney Lawners. So the Tigers with a 3-zip lead, and now batting Alex Steinmel with Lawners at second. That'll go down as a double and 2 RBIs for Lawners as the Tigers lead 3-0 here in the bottom of the first inning. Glad to see that she can still remain in the game. Hate to see someone get hurt. And that pitch is a strike. And now the count's 0-2 to Alex Steinmel as Melanie Habib waits on deck. Tigers opened up with a single, followed by a walk. So they had 2 on. Then a sacrifice bunt by Zeppa Tosny moved up the runners to second and third. And then Gustafson grounded out to third on the fielder's choice. They came home and got Anderson at the plate. Ending up at first was Gustafson. Then Sellers came up with a single. Moving over to third was Gustafson. And then Laners drove them both in with the double to right field. And we're here at 3-zip in the bottom of the first. Oh, and that ball's ripped down the line, and it looks like it's foul ball. She got a good piece of it, but just yanked it foul. And the count is 1-2. That was a nice hit. Nice. So the Aggies trying to get out of this inning here in the first without any more damage done. We're coming to you live from Bill Simon Field on the campus of the University of Pacific. Andrea Reynolds, the 1-2 pitch. Just fighting to stay alive is Alex Steinmel as she pops it over the fence for a foul ball. The Pacific coach is Brian Colsey in his 23rd season. Coaching in her first season is Aaron Thorpe for the Aggies. That ball's grounded back to Reynolds. She collects herself and throws it over the first base overhand. So that's going to be the 3rd out here in the inning. The Tigers do score 3 runs on 3 hits. They leave one runner on base, and at the end of 1, it's 3-0 Pacific. Come on back for the top of the second. Welcome back to Stockton, California on the campus of the University of Pacific. My name's Jason Murray. We're on the PacificTigers.com digital network from Bill Simon Field, where the Pacific Tigers are ahead of the UC Davis Aggies 3-0 here in the top of the second. Coming to the plate for the Aggies, the right fielder, Ashley Lodazinski.
Number 21, Ashley Lodazinski.
Lodazinski on the season batting .287. with 4 home runs and 20 RBI. The first pitch from Marissa Young floats in there for strike one. Young last week was named the West Coast Conference Pitcher of the Week. She had a 2-0 record along with a 0.50 ERA. Included in her 2 wins was a complete game shutout in which she struck out a career high 5 while only giving up 3 hits. West Coast Conference Pitcher of the Week, Marissa Young, ahead of the count here, 0-2 to Ashley Lodazinski. And that ball's low. Rolled in there like bowling for a ball. On deck for the Aggies, Kelly Zabrowski. Following up her will be Krista Bava in the top of the second here for UC Davis. As that pitch is grounded to short, to first actually. Up with it is Alex Steinmel. She goes over the bag and records the first out here in the top of the second.
Number 19, Kelly Zabrowski.
And coming to the plate for UC Davis is Kelly Zabrowski. A pitch from Young. Taken for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. Zabrowski on the season is batting .200. Marissa Young fires, and that one's in there just on the outside corner for a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Actually, it's 2-0. That pitch was ruled high, so the count is 2-0 as Young delivers. That pitch is fouled back, and there's strike 1 to Zabrowski. The wind's blowing left to right across the field at about 10 to 12 miles an hour. Not too bad as Marissa Young delivers. That pitch is fouled back again. The count goes to 2-2. On deck is Krista Bava. The 2-2 pitch from Marissa Young is grounded towards short. Up with it is the shortstop, Melanie Habib. On to first in time with a nice throw from the hole for the second out here in the top of the second inning. She had a little hop step in her jump after she delivered a nice strike to first for the second out here. Nice play by the shortstop. And now batting Krista Bava with 2 down here in the top of the second. Bava fouls it off at the plate. On the season, Bava's batting .219 with 21 hits, 5 doubles, and 1 triple. With 2 down here in the top of the second as the Tigers lead 3-0 over the UC Davis Aggies. That ball is hit down the line and foul and out of play. And the count goes to 0-2 to Krista Bava, trying to get on base for the UC Davis Aggies. It's a nice cool evening here in Stockton. Not too hot, not too cold, but the sun hasn't gone down yet. And that pitch is delivered outside for ball 1. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Krista Bava. And that ball's fouled off as well. 70 degrees here in Stockton. I hope the weather's nice where you're listening from, as Krista Bava awaits the 1 ball, 2 strike pitch from Marissa Young. And that ball's bounced in there for ball 2. The Tigers have been home for 5 games. UC Davis is in the midst of a road trip themselves. The Tigers will head to Santa Clara for a 3-game series starting Friday. Friday they'll have a doubleheader. And the 2-2 pitch as Bava has squared around like she's going to bunt. Trying to distract the pitcher. She draws the bat back and gets ready for the pitch to come in, and that pitch was a ball. So the count's now 3-2 as she's fought back. Once again, squaring to bunt. Or holding the bat out there like she's going to bunt. Probably just a perception thing, just to keep an eye on the ball, the release point of Marissa Young. And the count once again is full with 2 down here in the top of the second, with the Tigers up 3-0 as Bava once again with the bat out there in front. Takes ball 4, and a nice at-bat by Krista Bava. She fought back from an 0-2 count. She worked it and drew a walk, and down at first base goes Bava.
How about in the catcher, number 2, Katie Robertson.
And coming to the plate for the Aggies, the catcher, Katie Robertson. Robertson on the season, a 148 batting average. She started 26 of the 39 games for the Aggies. As Marissa Young delivers the first pitch. Krista Bava over at first has 5 stolen bases in 7 attempts as she gets her lead once Marissa Young goes to the plate. The 1-0 pitch is fouled back to the screen. The count goes to 1-1. Two down here in the top of the second with a runner at first and Katie Robertson at the plate. Marissa Young trying to end the inning here for Pacific. Big swing and a miss by the right-hander, Katie Robertson. Looked like a home run swing. Robertson on the season has driven in 3. Rachel Sellers goes over and talks to her pitcher, home plate umpire, Martin Vandenberg, right behind her, gets her back behind the plate. And the count's 1-2. Marissa Young ahead of the batter once again. Katie Robertson with a nice cut last pitch. Let's see what she does here. She swings again, fouls it back. On deck for the Aggies, Alexandra Sotomayor trying to get a chance here in the top of the second. As Krista Bava at first gets away. Oh, and they go to pick her off. And the ball gets away from the first baseman, Alex Steinmel, but retrieved quickly by Nicole Zapatozny. No damage done. So now we're at 2 balls, 2 strikes with 2 down and a runner on. Marissa Young trying to get out of this inning. Pitches to Katie Robertson, and that is just swinging strike 3. And down go the Aggies. They leave 1 runner on with no hits. They drew a walk after 1.5 innings. The Tigers lead 3-0. Come on back for the bottom of the second. Welcome back to Bill Simon Field here in Stockton, California, on the campus of the University of Pacific. The Pacific Tigers lead the UC Davis Aggies 3-0 here in the bottom of the second. The Tigers scored 3 in the bottom of the first. The Aggies sent four ladies to the plate each time in the first and second, but weren't able to get anyone across the plate. So the score is 3-0 with the Tigers at the plate. And leading off for the Tigers in the bottom of the second, Melanie Habib. Habib on the season is batting .137. She's played in and started every game for the Tigers this season. On deck will be Tony Santos, and in the top of the order, Sarah Anderson. Andrea Reynolds delivers, and that pitch is ball 2. Reynolds had a long first inning. She gave up 3 runs. The Tigers got 3 hits off of her. They almost got out of it without giving up a run, but unfortunately for the Aggies, the Tigers were persistent. A couple back-to-back 2-out hits drove in all 3 runs for the Tigers. And the 3-0 pitch from Andrea Reynolds is called a strike by home plate umpire Martin Vandenberg. And the count's now 3-1 as Tony Santos waits on deck. The 3-1 pitch floated outside, and that's ball 4. Heading down to first goes Melanie Habib with a leadoff walk. And now batting for the Tigers, Tony Santos.
Now batting the
right fielder, batting 200 on the season. She has 19 hits, and she's driven in 5. The left-hander steps in as Habib leads. That ball's bunted. The catcher jumps on it. Katie Robertson easily puts that away for the first out. Usually a bunt. In order to be a bunt to be effective, it needs to be bunted onto the ground. Once it's popped up, it becomes easy prey. And in that case, Katie Robertson was able to jump on it for the first out. Staying over at first is Melanie Habib. And now batting is Sarah Anderson. Anderson singled the first time up in the top of the first. She ended up at third and was thrown out at the plate on a fielder's choice for the first out, for the second out in the Tigers' first inning. The 1-0 pitch from Reynolds with the big windup is lined down the left field line. It's slicing and it's foul. But a nice diving attempt by the left fielder, Brianna Warner. Brianna dove as the ball landed out at bounds down the left field line. She made a great attempt but was unable to pull it in. It would have been a big play. Nice try. Good effort. And the count is now 1-1. Over at first, Melanie Habib, as Sarah Anderson awaits the pitch from Andrea Reynolds. And that pitch on the inside is called a ball, and the count goes to 2-1. Here in the bottom of the second inning, the Tigers lead 3-0. As Reynolds looks into the dugout for a sign from her coach, and now she delivers. And that pitch is low and in the dirt, but scooped up nicely by Katie Robertson. Nice block. On deck for the Tigers will be Molly Bourne, the hot-hitting freshman, hoping to get a chance. That ball's fouled back. And the count goes to 2 and full count here in the bottom of the second. As Reynolds looks into her dugout for another sign. The 3-2 pitch is hit out in the center field. That ball's hit a long way, and it looks like it's off the bottom of the wall. Unable to pick it up quickly was Krista Beva, coming around third and scoring. is Melanie Habib, and ending up at third with a triple and driving in a run is Sarah Anderson, who's 2 for 2 on the game. She lined that ball over the center fielder head, Crystal Bava. Bava made a nice attempt on it. The ball bounced off the bottom of the wall. Rounding third and easily scoring was Melanie Habib. Driving in the run was Anderson as she ends up at third base. And now batting is Molly Bourne. The first pitch from Reynolds outside for a ball. For Sarah Anderson, that's her 4th RBI in the season. As Molly Bourne steps in. Bourne with 4 home runs and 30 RBI in the season. Takes a pitch in there for strike 1. The count 1 ball, 1 strikes with a runner at third. The Tigers now with a 4-0 lead here in the bottom of the second with 1 down. That ball's grounded to the third baseman. Up with it is Zabrowski on to first for the second out here in the inning. Now come to the plate for the Tigers, Nicole Zapatozny. Zapatozny last time up grounded into a fielder's choice. Actually, she had a sacrifice bunt. Her runners at first and second with no one out, and she bunted, and both runners moved up, which ended up coming in to score later in the inning. And this time she fouls it off. It counts 0-1 with 2 down. 2 down and 1 in here in the bottom of the second as the Tigers lead. And that pitch is in there for a strike. 0-2. Reynolds ahead of the count here to Zapatozny. 0-2. That pitch is pop foul, and the count remains no balls and 2 strikes. On deck for the Tigers is Cassidy Gustafson as Reynolds delivers the 0-2 pitch, and that ball is bounced in there for a ball. And the count goes to 1-2. The Tigers with a run in here. They lead 4-0 in the bottom of the second with 2 down and a runner at third, Nicole Zapatozny. Pops this one up on the infield. The first baseman is under it and makes the grab. Amy Nunez puts it away. The Tigers score 1 run with 1 hit, and they leave a runner on base. At the end of 2 innings, the Tigers lead 4-0. Come on back for the top of the third. Welcome back, everyone, to Bill Simon Field here in the top of the third inning, where the Tigers lead 4-0. And stepping in for the Aggies, Alexandra Sotomayor. Marissa Young still on the mound here in the top of the third with a 4-0 lead. She's only given up one hit, and this ball's grounded to the shortstop. Up with his Habib, strong arm throw over to first for one down. Quickly here in the top of the third inning, and that turns the lineup over. Come to the plate for the Aggies is Krista Costello.
Krista Costello.
As Costello waits for the pitch. That pitch is outside for ball one. Kind of a windy day here in Stockton. All my paperwork and notes are getting blown all over the booth, and I'm trying to keep them all together. And that one's topped back to Marissa Young. And Young on the first for a second out. It must be hard for a pitcher who pitches underhand to field the ball and then have to throw it overhand to the base to get a runner out. It's quite a transition. It looks a little bit awkward for them, but she did a good job, and that's a second out here in the top of the third.
Number 3, Brianna Warner.
And stepping in for the Aggies is Brianna Warner. She grounded out to third her last time up, and she takes a pitch for a strike one from Marissa Young. And that pitch is swung on and missed. For strike two. Marissa Young ahead 0-2, trying to get the Aggies 3 up, 3 down here in the top of the third with a 4-0 lead. And that pitch, the breaking pitch is on the inside, but not called a strike. The 1-2 pitch is bounced to third. Up with it is the third baseman, Gustafson. Not in time to catch the speedy Brianna Warner as she beats it out for an infield hit. And with 2 down, coming to the plate for the UC Davis Aggies, Amy Nunez. Nunez, her last time up, singled and was left stranded at second base in the top of the first inning. And with 2 outs, as Sellers checks on Warner down at first. The first pitch was a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. To Nunez with 2 down here in the top of the third. That pitch floats in there for strike 2. Actually, we'll call it strike 1. Nunez with the bat out in front. Brings it back. Fouls it down the line. Now the count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. On deck for the Aggies, Alexis Carney. With 1 ball, 2 strikes, Marissa Young trying to get out of the inning here for the Tigers. The pitch, that ball's line foul, inside and low, and she just hooked it down the line and foul. Staying alive, being aggressive. The Aggies with 2 hits so far, one of them by Nunez in the first. And this pitch, she waited on it nicely. That slow breaking pitch floated in there, and she waited on it, and she drove it into center field for a base hit, her second of the ball game. And now the Aggies have runners at the corners as Brianna Warner ends up at third on the single by Amy Nunez. And now it's 2 down and 2 on here for the Aggies, trailing 4-0 here in the top of the third, and stepping in as Alexis Carney, the designated player. Carney on the season has a couple home runs and 21 runs driven in. Her last at bat, she grounded out to the second baseman, Nicole Zapatosny. She takes the first pitch from Young. Outside for ball one. So the Aggies with 2 on and 2 down here in the top of the third, trying to get on the board. As Young delivers low for ball 2. And Sellers is going to go talk it over with her. We're coming to you live from Bill Simon Field on the campus of the University of Pacific here in Stockton, California. Thank you for joining us. My name is Jason Murray on the Pacific Tigers Digital Network. And the count is 2 balls, no strikes, with 2 on and 2 down here in the top of the third as Marissa Young delivers. And that pitch is taken for ball 3 outside. On deck, Ashley Lotuzinski for the Aggies. Carney waits. And that pitch is low for ball 4. And moving up 90 feet is Amy Nunez. She heads down to second as Carney takes her place at first base with the walk. Now the bags are loaded. Brianna Warner at third. Over at second, Nunez at first, Alexis Carney as the Tiger players talk it over with 2 down here in the top of the third. The Tigers are ahead 4-0. They got 2 quick outs here in the top of the third with a couple ground outs, but 2 back-to-back singles and then a walk have loaded the bases up for UC Davis. Now stepping in is Ashley Lotuzinski. Lotuzinski with 4 home runs on the season and 20 driven in. She leads the team in home runs and is looking to drive in a few right here in this opportunity. The first pitch is a ball. The 1-0 pitch is grounded to third. Up with it is the third baseman Gustafson on to Steinmel at first for the third and final out here in the top of the third. Well, the Aggies loaded them up, but they couldn't get a run in. So we're going to go to the bottom of the third where the Pacific Tigers lead 4-0. Come on back. Welcome back. My name is Jason Murray, coming to you from the University of Pacific campus here in Stockton, California, where the Tigers of Pacific have a 4-0 lead over the UC Davis Aggies in this non-conference matchup between both teams, the Tigers of the West Coast Conference and the UC Davis Aggies of the Big West in a non-conference matchup. Nothing at stake for their conference, but these are regional rivals separated only by 50 miles. So it's a big, important game for both teams. It's nice to beat your local rivals. It's like beating that high school across town. This is the college in the next city, so it's a big game for both teams. For the Tigers, here in the bottom of the third, is Alex Steinmel steps in. Actually, Cassidy Gustafson, number 74, the third baseman. She grounded into a fielder's choice in the first inning, but came around to score. on the 2-out double. And this pitch has popped up. Shortstop coming over to put it away is Krista Costello for the first out here in the bottom of the third.
Now batting for the Tigers. Number 10, Rachel Sellers.
Rachel Sellers. Sellers, her last time up, had a single and drove in a run. And she bats here with one down here in the bottom of the third. The Tigers with a 4-0 lead. As Sellers takes a first pitch from Andrea Reynolds outside for ball one. The 1-0 pitch from Reynolds is taken for a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike to Rachel Sellers. With Sydney Lanners on deck. This pitch has popped up. Will it get out of play? The third baseman able to put it away. The ball stayed in play as Kelly Zabrowski puts it away for out number 2 here in the bottom of the third inning. 2 pop-ups recording the first 2 outs here in the bottom of the third.
Designated player number 44, Sydney Lawners.
And now coming to the plate, the designated player for the Tigers, Sydney Lawners, her first time up, had a 2-out double that knocked in 2 runs in the top of the first inning. As Andrea Reynolds delivers the first pitch in there for a strike. Lawners came up with 2 down in the first and 2 on, and she drove a line drive into right field over the right fielder's head. Ashley Lowe Tazinski, but as Lowe Tazinski went to make a play on it, she tripped and fell and was unable to get back up. They had to give her, the coaching staff had to come out after the play was over to give her some attention. But after the center fielder Bava retrieved the ball, the Tigers had already come across the plate with 2 runs. At the time it was 3-0. And now it's 4-0 here in the bottom of the third. And that pitch is fouled back. And the count's now 0-2. Want to wish a very special birthday to a couple 13-year-old twin girls here today at the ballpark. Megan and Emily Walker are here with their dad, Paul Walker, good friends of mine, and they were just, Paul came by the booth, and I wanted to wish his daughters a happy birthday. So happy birthday, Emily and Megan. As the third out is recorded as Lanners grounds out to the shortstop.
Nothing on or across for the Tigers.
And after, in this inning, the Tigers go up, 3 down. And after 3, the Tigers lead 4-0. Come on back for the top of the fourth. Welcome back. My name is Jason Murray, coming to you live from the University of Pacific here in Stockton, California at Bill Simon Field, where the Pacific Tigers lead the University of California Davis Aggies 4-0. We're heading to the top of the fourth inning. Coming up, due up for the Aggies, Ashley Lodazinski, followed by Kelly Zabrowski and Krista Bava. the Aggies were able to load up the bases in the last inning, all with 2 outs, but were unable to get any runs across the board. But they did make Marissa Young throw a lot of pitches. This pitch is in there for a strike to Lodazinski. Lodazinski, her first time up, grounded out to first in the top of the second inning. Ooh, that pitch is on the inside for ball 1. Nearly hit Lodazinski. And that pitch is outside for ball 2. Waiting on deck, Kelly Zabrowski for the Aggies, as Lodazinski takes ball 3 from Marissa Young. The count is now 3 balls and a strike. As Marissa Young delivers, and that pitch on the inside corner for strike 2. Went back to that inside location again. This time she got the call. And the count's now full at 3-2. Marissa Young delivers. Oh, back to the inside, and this one's low for ball 4. And heading down to first goes Ashley Lodazinski with a walk. And now coming to the plate for the Aggies, Kelly Zabrowski. Zabrowski last time grounded out to short with a nice play by the shortstop, Melanie Habib. Zabrowski steps in. The pitch from Young outside for ball 1. As Krista Beva waits on deck. Ooh, swung on a missed by Zabrowski. Nice pitch by Marissa Young. And that ball's lined into center field, fading away from the center fielder, and it gets by her. Sarah Anderson chases it down to the wall, gets it into the infield. But not before the UC Davis Aggies have runners now at second and third with a double by Kelly Zabrowski. And now coming to the plate is Krista Beva. Moving up to third is Lodazinski. And standing at second with the double is Kelly Zabrowski. Nice hit. The ball kind of tailed away from the center fielder. She was unable to, it was coming right at her, and then it kind of tailed away at the last second. She was unable to make the grab, but she did get it in quickly to keep the Aggies from scoring. And now the Tigers want to talk it over for a second, as Krista Beva waits to get her chance here with 2 runners in scoring position and nobody out here in the top of the 4th. That was the Aggies' 4th hit of the game. As the umpire, home plate umpire, Martin Vandenberg, goes up to break up the conversation. So with 2 on and nobody out, the Tigers lead 4-0.
Number 47, Lauren Saunders.
And the UC Davis Aggies are going to use a pinch hitter right now. Lauren Saunders is coming to pinch hit, and she grounds it to short up to Habib. Nice scoop at short, on to first for the first out here in the top of the 4th as Saunders gets retired.
Second baseman number 4, Alexandra Sotomayor.
And coming up for the UC Davis Aggies with 1 out is Alexandra Sotomayor. And this pitch is grounded to short. And once again, up with it and making a throw to first is Melanie Habib with both putouts here. And now back to the top of the order. Krista Costello with 2 on.
Number 9, Krista Costello.
Costello, 14 RBI in the season, looking to drive in to get the Aggies on the board here. And that ball is topped foul for strike 1. As Costello awaits, the pitch from Young is in there for strike 2. No balls, 2 strikes with 2 on. That ball's fouled back. And that pitch is ball 1. To Krista Costello, the 1-2 count for Marissa Young with 2 on and 2 down is foul down the right field line. And the count remains 1-2. That pitch is lined into left field. Coming in to score is number 19, Kelly Zabrowski. Right behind her is Crystal Bava with a 2-out, 2 RBI double or single. Moving up on a throw is Krista Costello. Singles it into left field and drives in the 2 runs. Zabrowski and Bava.
Left fielder number 3, Brianna Warner.
And now coming up is Brianna Warner. 1 for 2 on the day, singled her last at bat. And the Aggies have scored 2 runs here. Zabrowski led the inning off with a double. Bava came up, or led off with a single. Bava came up with a double. Then they had a pinch hitter, Lauren Saunders, on 1 pitch grounded out. And then Alexandra Sotomayor came up and grounded out to short as well. Then Krista Costello came up to the plate with 2 down. Behind in the count. 1 ball, 2 strikes. She drove it into left field for 2 RBIs. And the score is now 4-2. And Brianna Warner has gotten the count to 3 balls, no strikes. Brianna Warner steps back in there. 3 balls, no strikes. She's probably going to take a pitch here unless it's really good. And that ball's in there on the outside corner for strike 1. So the Aggies have cut the lead in half here in the top of the 4th on a nice piece of 2-out hitting by Crystal Costello. For Costello, that was her 15th and 16th run driven in. As Brianna Warner waits for the full count pitch from Marissa Young, who fought back to even the count. As Warner pops out, grounds out, back to Young for the 3rd and final out here in the top of the 4th. But the Aggies do score 2 on 2 hits to cut the lead in half. It's now 4-2. We're heading to the bottom of the 4th inning. Come on back. Welcome back to the University of Pacific here in Stockton, California. Bill Simon Field, the Pacific Tigers lead the UC Davis Aggies 4-2. We're in the bottom of the fourth inning. The Aggies just scored 2 in the top of the fourth and cut this lead in half. Now the Tigers looking to get those 2 runs back. Andrea Reynolds trying to get a shutdown inning here for the Aggies and get them back in the dugout. Stepping in for the Tigers will be Alex Steinmel. She grounded out back to the Andrea Reynolds last time up in the bottom of the first. Now Reynolds with a little bit more life in her now that her team has given her some support. Comes out, first pitch is low for a ball. Steinmel leads it off here, followed by Melanie Habib. And then Tony Santos for the Tigers. And the count's 2-0 from Reynolds to Steinmel. The girls at the corners are in. This ball's grounded towards third, in between third and short, and into left field for a leadoff single by Alex Steinmel. Nice little hit. And now coming to the plate for the Tigers, Melanie Habib.
Shortstop number 23, Melanie Habib.
Habib last time walked and came around to score on Sarah Anderson's triple in the bottom of the second inning. The Tigers have scored all their runs on 2 outs with 2 outs. They scored 3 in the first with 2 down and 1 in the second with 2 down. As Habib fouls it off and the count goes even at 1 ball, 1 strike. Steinmel at first, Habib at the plate, on deck, Tony Santos. Andrea Reynolds trying to induce a double play ball here. Get 2 down with 1 pitch. As that ball floats on the outside corner for strike 2 to Melanie Habib. The 1-2 pitch. Grounded to third, on to second to get the out there. Over to Sotomayor for the first out as Steinmel is retired on the fielder's choice for the first out here in the top of the fourth inning, or actually bottom of the fourth. Reaching is Habib at first. As Santos, the number 9 hitter for the Tigers, popped out to the catcher. She tried to bunt and she ended up popping up to the catcher. Back in the bottom of the second inning. Now she's up with 1 out and 1 on. And then she bunts this one down. She gets it down. The first baseman fields it on to first to get the out. Nunez came in nicely, scooped it up, and got it over to Sotomayor, who was covering from second for the second out. And a nice sacrifice by Santos to get the runner in scoring position. Moving up to second is Habib on the sacrifice. And now the top of the order for the Tigers, Sarah Anderson. Last time she was up, she tripled and drove in the 4th run of the game for the Tigers. And here we are again, the Tigers with 2 outs, looking to add another run. As out from the dugout for the UC Davis Aggies Coach wants to talk it over. Here we are in the bottom of the fourth. The Tigers lead 4-2 with 2 down. At second base, Melanie Habib. The Tigers started this inning off with a single by Steinmill. Habib grounded, hit a grounder to third, and Steinmill was out at second. Habib ended up at first on the fielder's choice. Santos bunted her to second. And now Anderson ahead in the count 2-0 with 2 down. Trying to drive in another run here with 2 down for the Tigers. Now ball's hit to third baseman. She's unable to come up with it. And ending up at first base, which will end up being an infield hit, is Sarah Anderson with her 3rd hit of the game. Staying put at second is Habib, and the Tigers with 2 outs have 2 on. And stepping in is Molly Bourne.
Left fielder, number 30, Molly Bourne.
Bourne on the season has driven in 30, and she has 4 home runs. She's batting over .320 for the season. She takes the first pitch from Reynolds for a ball. So the Tigers have 2 on with 2 down, looking for another 2-out hit. They're heading this game 4-2. We're in the bottom of the 4th. As Reynolds delivers the 1-0 pitch to Bourne. Bourne watches it float by for strike 1. On at second base for the Tigers is Melanie Habib. Over at first is Sarah Anderson. At the plate is Molly Bourne, the freshman. And that pitch is line foul down the left field line. Molly Bourne from Whittier, California. The count's 1-2. Reynolds delivers. Bourne, ooh, pitches up high. Easily laid off of. Easy to lay off of from Molly Bourne. On deck for the Tigers, hoping to get a chance is Nicole Zapatozny. 2 down, 2 on, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Tigers lead by 2, and now the count goes full as Bourne works it full. As Reynolds awaits her full count delivery. That ball's lined to third and easily put away by Kelly Zabrowski for the 3rd out here in the bottom of the 4th. The Tigers led off with a single, then a fielder's choice retired. Steinmill at second. A sacrifice bunt sent Habib to second, and then singling was Anderson on the infield single, but they ended up standing being left stranded on base. So they get no runs with 1 hit and 2 left. We're going to go to the top of the 5th. The Tigers lead 4-2. Come on back.
for the Aggies.
Welcome back to Bill Simon Field. My name is Jason Murray. We're in the top of the 5th inning, where the Pacific Tigers lead the UC Davis Aggies 4-2. On the mound for the Tigers, Marissa Young, the freshman from Rancho Cucamonga, with a 4-2 lead here. Coming to the plate for the Aggies is Amy Nunez. Nunez is 2 for 2. She singled in the first and singled in the third. On deck will be Alexis Carney, followed by Ashley Lodazinski. And that pitch is called a strike on the outside corner. Marissa Young, the no ball, 1-strike pitch, is topped to third base. Up with it is the third baseman Gustafson. Out at first is Nunez for the first out here in the top of the 5th inning. Now coming to the plate for the Aggies, Alexis Carney.
The designated player number 15, Alexis Carney.
The designated player, she's 0 for 1. She did walk her last time up in the third. We're in the top of the 5th, 4-2 Tiger lead. And that pitch is low and inside for ball 1 to Carney. On deck for the Aggies, Ashley Lodazinski. The 1-0 pitch, topped foul. Count goes to 1-1. The 1-1 pitch from Young. Bounce foul for strike 2. The Aggies in the last inning scored 2 runs, led off by a single by Kelly Zabrowski, followed by a double by Crystal Bava. Then pinch hitter Lauren Saunders came up and grounded out to short, followed by a ground out by Alexandra Sotomayor. But up came Krista Costello. She had a single, and she drove in the 2 runs for the Aggies to cut the lead in half, as Marissa Young gets Alexis Carney to strike out for the second out here in the top of the 5th. With 2 down, stepping in is Ashley Lodazinski. It looks like we're going to have a change now batting for UC Davis.
Your attention, pitch hitting for UC Davis, number 29, Megan Salazar.
Number 29, Megan Salazar for Lodazinski. That pitch is floated outside from Young. 1 ball, no strikes. And that's ball 2. To Megan Salazar. Salazar takes the pitch outside. On the season, Megan Salazar is batting 167. She has a couple hits and no RBIs actually. And she takes a strike from Marissa Young, and the count goes to 3-1. With nobody on and 2 down here in the top of the 5th, Marissa Young trying to retire the Aggies in order. That 3-1 pitch is outside, and there goes the walk. Down to first goes Salazar. Now batting
Third baseman number 19, Kelly Zabrowski.
Kelly Zabrowski. Zabrowski last time up in the top of the fourth, led off with a single, came in to score on the 2-out RBI single by Krista Costello. She knocked in 2 at that time. As Young gets the first one in there for a strike to Zabrowski, with Megan Salazar at first via the walk. Salazar pinched hit for Ashley Lodozinski, and now she's at first. And that pitch from Young, inside and low, and the count goes even at 1-1. On deck for the Aggies, Krista Beva. The 1-1 pitch to Zabrowski is bounced back to the Young, and she underhands it to first to Steinmel for the third and final out. The Aggies strand one after 4.5 inning. Pacific Tigers lead 4-2. Come on back for the bottom of the fifth. Welcome back to the University of Pacific here in Stockton, California. My name is Jason Murray. We're here at Bill Simon Field. It's 4-2. We're in the bottom of the fifth inning. The Pacific Tigers and the UC Davis Aggies stepping in, due up here for the Tigers in the bottom of the fifth. Nicole Zapatosny, followed by Cassidy Gustafson and Rachel Sellers. Zapatosny 0 for 2 on the day. Takes the first pitch from Andrea Reynolds here in the bottom of the fifth for ball one. Zapatosny came up in the first with a sacrifice bunt and then popped up to the first baseman. This time lines it over the shortstop's head into left field for a leadoff single. And for the third time in 5 innings. Let me count here. 1, 2. Yes, for the fourth time in the 5 innings, the Tigers have got the leadoff batter on, as Nicole Zapatowski ends up at first with a nice single to left field. And Cassidy Gustafson bunts it back off the screen for strike one. Sarah Anderson led off the game with a single. In the second inning, Melanie Habib walked in, coming in to score to lead off the second. The third inning is the only inning the Tigers did not get the leadoff batter on. In the fourth inning, Alex Steinmel led off the inning with the single, and now here another single to lead off the inning for the Tigers. And the count goes to 2-1, or 1-1 from Andrea Reynolds. As Cassidy Gustafson, first time up, she grounded into a fielder's choice, but came around to score on the RBI double as this one's bunted back to Reynolds. Reynolds comes up with it on to first for the first out. Moving down to second is Zapatosny on the fielder's choice. Nice job by Andrea Reynolds to get off the mound and get that ball over to first to get that out.
Catcher number 10, Rachel Sellers.
And now batting for the Tigers here in the bottom of the fifth with one down and one on is Rachel Sellers. Sellers came up, drove in the Tigers' first run of the ball game with a single in the first inning, and this one's lined down the left field line. Left fielder giving chase, out of play for strike one. Sellers 1 for 2 with 1 RBI today. On deck, Cindy Lanners. Nicole Zapatosny at second with one down here in the bottom of the fifth. And that ball's fouled back. The Tigers with a 4-2 lead. Andrea Reynolds ahead of Sellers here, 0-2 in the 0-2 pitch. The fastball outside for ball one. We're here in the bottom of the fifth in a 4-2 contest. And that pitch is grounded towards second and through the hole. Unable to come up with it is the second baseman, Sotomayor. Stopping at third is Zapatosny. And ending up at second as the ball came through is Rachel Sellers. She'll get the single and she moves up on the throw. Ending up at third is Zapatosny. And the Tigers have two runners in scoring position as Sydney Lanners steps in. Lanners already with 2 RBIs with an RBI double, a 2 RBI double in this first inning. And then she grounded out to short in the third. And it looks like the Aggies are going to go to another pitcher. And while she warms up, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back.
And now batting for the Tigers.
Welcome back, everyone. Coming in to pitch for the Tigers, number 7, Justine Vela, in replace of Andrea Reynolds. Reynolds goes 4 1/3 innings, and she's responsible for the 2 runners on base. She leaves trailing 4-2 as Vela comes in. The first pitch is in there for a strike. For Vela, this is her 23rd appearance. She has a 1-5 record and 5.0 ERA. And the 0-1 pitch to Lanners is a ball, and the count goes to 1-1. Coming in to pinch run for the Tigers is Melina Huey at second base. So we have Huey at second base. Over at third is Zapatosny. With one down here in the bottom of the fifth. Ooh, and that pitch was fouled. And just getting out of the way is the on-deck hitter, Alex Steinmel, as that ball was ripped off the screen right behind her. Close call. So with one down, the count goes to 1 ball, 2 strikes. Justine Vela delivers. Grounded to third. Up with it is the third baseman. On to first in time to get the out. But coming in to score for the Tigers is Nicole Zapatosny for the 5th run of the game. And getting the RBI, her 3rd of the game, is Sydney Lanners as she grounds out to third.
Now batting for the Tigers, first baseman, number 13, Alex Steinmel.
And now coming up for the Tigers, Alex Steinmel with 1 run here in for the Tigers. It's 5-2 ball game. Over at third is the pinch runner, Melina Huey. And that ball hits. The pitch from Justine Vela hits Steinmel on the left leg, and down goes to, and on at first now via the hit by pitch is Steinmel. Looks like she just took a little bit off of that one, and it just couldn't get it across the plate. Justine Vela's pitching 46 2/3 innings, giving up 59 hits, walking 29 and striking out 28 on the season. All 5 runs that are in have been charged to Andrea Reynolds as the 0-1 pitch is high for ball 1. Vela pitches. The ball had a lot of movement on it, but just didn't cross the plate. And the count goes to 2 balls and 1 strike. The 2-1 pitch from Vela is popped foul. Here it comes. Oh, make a catch. That was close. The ball came back and almost made it in the booth as I leaned forward to try to protect it from hitting the camera that was here, and almost made the play. That would have been my ESPN top moment right there. But to no avail, the ball gets away. But it ends up in the good hands of a nice observer, so that's where it should be. I had a beat on it. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The pitch from Vela is high for ball 3. To Melanie Habib, the shortstop for the Tigers. Habib's 0 for 1. She walked and scored to lead off the 2nd inning for Pacific, and has made some outstanding plays in the field as well. This pitch is fouled back again. The count's full. 3 balls, 2 strikes with 2 down and 2 on here for the Tigers in a 5-2 ball game. Pacific with the lead. Justine Vela came in with 1 out. She retired. She gave up a single, or actually she induced a ground ball, but coming in to score on the play was Zapatosny, as Habib takes ball 4, and now the bags are full of Tigers. Here in the bottom of the 5th, Habib walks for the 2nd time in the game. Heading down to 2nd is Steinmel. Over at 3rd is Rachel Sellers. The bags are full of Tigers. Tigers have gotten 2 runs and 2 walks, and it looks like the Aggies coach Aaron Thorpe is going to make another pitching change. The Tigers led off this inning with a single by Zapatosny. And then Gustafson grounded back to the pitcher. Zapatosny went down to 2nd. Then came Rachel Sellers to the plate. Sellers singled. Zapatosny went over to 3rd. Sellers ended up at 2nd on the throw to the plate. Then came Sydney Lanners, grounded out to 3rd, and on the play, Zapatosny came in to score. Lanners was out at out at first for the second out. Steinmel was hit by a pitch, and now Habib has been walked, and the bases are full of Tigers. Now coming in the pitch. For the UC Davis Aggies. For the Aggies on the mound, Alicia Payne. This is Payne's 11th appearance on the season. She has a 1-0 record and a 5.50 ERA, and that pitch floats in there, but is called a ball, and the count's 1 ball, 1 strike. So Justine Vela comes in and gets 1 out. She hits the batter and walks the batter. Vela comes in and gets an out, a ground out, which ends up scoring a Tiger run. But then she hit Steinmel, and then she walked Habib, and Aaron Thorpe went to another pitcher here. Alicia Payne comes in with 2 down here in the 5th. Ooh, and that pitch is called a strike, and the count goes full. Tony Santos at the plate. Santos 0 for 2 with a sacrifice her last time up. And this ball's fouled back. The Tigers are on the move. So the bases are full of Tigers. Rachel Sellers is at third. Alex Steinmel at second. Melanie Habib at first, as Santos with a full count pitch coming from Alicia Payne. Ooh, nice breaking pitch. Swung on a miss for strike 3. Alicia Payne gets out of it. The damage is limited. The Tigers do end up scoring a run. They got 2 hits, and they left 3 runners on base. Now we're going to go to the top of the 6th inning where the Tigers lead 5-2. Come on back. Welcome back to the University Pacific. We're at Bill Simon Field here in Stockton, California. My name is Jason Murray. We're in the top of the 6th inning where the Pacific Tigers lead 5-2. Coming up to bat for the Aggies here in the top of the 6th. Leading off here will be Krista Bava, followed by due up is Katie Robertson and Alexandra Sotomayor. As Krista Bava takes the 1-0 pitch outside for ball 2. Bava walked in the 2nd, doubled in the 4th, and came around to score on the single by Krista Costello, and this time she fouls it off to the left. And the count's now 2 balls and a strike. That pitch is lined to the first baseman, Steinmill. Easy put away for the first out here in the top of the 6th. And coming up is Lauren Saunders, who pinch hit, who came in the game back in the 4th and grounded out.
Lauren Saunders, 47.
And that pitch is popped up down the right field line. And making a play and a nice grab is the right fielder, Tony Santos, against the wall for the second out here in the top of the 6th. 4 pitches, 2 outs. Not too bad.
Second baseman number 4, Alexandra Sotomayor.
And now the second baseman coming up for the Aggies, Alexandra Sotomayor. And she swings the first pitch, strike 1. Sotomayor grounded out to shortstop twice. Once in the 3rd and once in the 4th inning. She's 0 for 2 on the day. Two up, 2 down with a 1 ball, 1 strike count here. And that pitch is, called a strike. With 2 down. And the Tigers lead 5-2 here in the top of the 6th. Marissa Young has gone the distance here so far for Pacific. Oh, and this ball gets away from her. She was heading the count 0-2, and she loses her, and Sotomayor reaches via the hit by pitch, and coming to the plate is the Krista Costello.
Shortstop number 9, Krista Costello.
Costello's 1 for 3. She struck out her first time, then grounded out in the 3rd, and had a single and drove in 2 in the 4th for the only 2 runs so far for the Aggies as she waits for the pitch from Young. It's outside for ball 1. On deck, hoping to get a chance, is Brianna Warner. The 1-0 pitch is high for ball 2. That ball's lined down the first base line. As Costello waits, the count 2 balls, 1 strike with 2 down. Young retired the first 2 batters on 4 pitches. Then she was ahead in the count 0-2 to Sotomayor and hit her when the count was 1-2. And this ball's hit up the middle. Yes. Off the glove of Young. Ricochets to Habib. Habib comes up with it. Underhands it to the second baseman. Zapatosny for the 3rd and final out here in the top of the 6th. We're going to head to the bottom of the 6th where the Pacific Tigers lead 5-2. Come on back. Welcome back to Bill Simon Field on the campus of the University Pacific from Stockton, California. My name is Jason Murray. We're in the bottom of the sixth, where the Pacific Tigers have a 5-2 lead over the UC Davis Aggies. And stepping in for the Tigers, the leadoff hitter, Sarah Anderson. Anderson takes the first pitch in there for a strike from Alicia Payne, coming back for her second inning of work. She came in the bottom of the fifth and struck out Tony Santos with the bases loaded. And the pitch is outside for a ball, and the count goes to 1 ball, 1 strike. On deck for the Tigers, Molly Bourne. Now the count's 1-2. As Payne delivers, and that breaking pitch is taken for a ball. Now the count's even, 2-2. We're in the bottom of the sixth. 2-2 pitch. Line on the ground, foul. Anderson has 3 hits in the game, a single in the first, a triple in the second to drive in a run, and then an infield hit in the fourth. Now here we are in the sixth. Alicia Payne takes a little bit off that one, but it comes in low for ball 3. Now the count's full as Payne delivers. The ball's topped back to the shortstop. Up with it is Costello on to first in time for the first out here in the bottom of the sixth. Nice play. The pitcher was going to attempt to field it, but then she decided to let it get to the shortstop.
The batter for the Tigers, left fielder, number 30, Molly Bourne.
Wisely enough, Costello came up with it and fired it across the infield. And a nice stretch by Amy Nunez to put out Anderson here in the bottom of the sixth. As Molly Bourne steps in, and the first pitch to Bourne is outside for a ball. Bourne walked in the first, came in to score the Tigers' first run. She's 0 for 2 since. This time she lines it up the middle for a base hit, right past the outstretched glove of Alicia Payne. The ball's hit right back up the box. Payne couldn't catch it, and on at first with a single is Molly Bourne, a nice hard hit ball. And now stepping up,
The batter for the Tigers, second baseman, number 7, Nicole Zapatosny.
the second baseman, Nicole Zapatosny. Zapatosny singled her last time up. And came in to score the 5th run for the Tigers on the fielder's choice. Driven in by Sydney Lanners. Over at first is Bourne with the single. Zapatosny 1 for 3 on the day with an RBI, with the run scored. Takes the 1-0 pitch outside for ball 2. On deck for Pacific, Cassidy Gustafson. That pitch is inside and driven foul. And the count goes to 2-1. Here to Zapatosny. We're in the bottom of the sixth. The Tigers lead 5-2. The Aggies trying to keep the Tigers from scoring and stretching this game out any further. Alicia Payne on the mound. The third pitcher for UC Davis. Right here, she's got a 3-ball, 1-strike count to Zapatosny with 1 on and 1 down. And the pitch. Ooh, nice pitch. But called a ball by the home plate umpire. So that's a walk. Heading down to first is Zapatosny. On the way to second is Molly Bourne. The Tigers have 2 on
The batter for the Tigers,
with
third
only
baseman,
1
number
down.
74, Cassidy Gustafson.
And now batting, Cassidy Gustafson. 0 for 3 on the day with a couple fielder's choice She did score the second run for the Tigers on a 2-out double by Lanners back in the first. And she takes the first pitch here from Alicia Payne for strike one. That ball's hit deep into left field, and no chance of catching it as the left fielder, and that ball is gone. Swung on and driven deep to left as Cassidy Gustafson got into that one and parked it over the left field wall for a 3-run shot, and the Tigers have taken an 8-2 lead. A big blast. Not even a chance. Ball was hit way out of here. And just like that, the 3-run bomb after the 1-out single and then the walk, Gustafson on the second pitch in the at-bat launched it deep, deep, deep into the night to give the Tigers an 8-2 lead. For Gustafson, that's her 5th home run in the season, and she just drove in her 20th RBI, giving the Tigers some breathing room here. Coming in to score of header was Molly Bourne, Zapatosny, and then a 3-run homer by Cassidy Gustafson.
Please re-entering that pitcher for the Aggies, number 55, Andrea Reynolds.
And it looks like the starting pitcher is going to come back into the game for the UC Davis Aggies. She started the game, and now she's coming back. So that's unusual. So Reynolds comes back with 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th. This game has kind of been blown open a little bit. So the Aggies are going back to their starting pitcher who started the game for them. She came out in the 4th. Actually, she came out in the 5th inning. And now she's back here in the bottom of the 6th. And that pitch is line foul for strike one. So the 3-run homer, a big shot here in the bottom of the 6th for the Tigers. They lead 8-2. The homer was hit off of Alicia Payne. She got 1 out here in the inning, but then she gave up the 3-run homer. And that's a ball. 1 ball, 1 strike to Rachel Sellers, the number 5 hitter for Pacific. As Reynolds delivers, floats it outside. So the Aggies came in with a 3-game winning streak. The Tigers have won 3 of their last 4. And the Tigers have a big lead here, 8-2. With the Aggies with 1 more chance in the top of the 7th to get back in this game. And the count goes to 3-1. The 3-1 pitch, fouled. Alicia Payne got a leadoff grounder to record the first out by Anderson, and she gave up a single to Bourne. Ended up walking Zapatosny, and Gustafson came up and made her pay with a 3-run shot over the left field wall. And now it's 3 balls, 2 strikes. As Reynolds pops it right back to me one more time. And it almost hits the same spot it hit last time. I could have made 2 great plays here tonight, but I didn't want to fall out of the booth or injure anyone below me. So once again, I could have been on ESPN. Now it's 3 balls and 2 strikes with 1 down here And this one, another one's fouled off. Next time I'm gonna bring my glove. They always say bring your glove to the ball game. You never know when you're gonna get a chance to catch a foul ball. Bring my glove or a helmet, one of the two. And that ball's lined in the left center and down for a base hit. On at first. For the fourth consecutive Pacific Tiger to reach here in the bottom of the sixth is Rachel Sellers with the single. And now coming up.
Your attention, please. Pinch hitting for the Tigers. Number 20, Alexi Johnson.
Pinch hitting for the Tigers. For Sydney Lanners is number 20, Alexi Johnson. Here in the bottom of the sixth. Takes the first pitch and fouls it back. Alexi Johnson on the season. She's appeared in 6 games. She's only had 5 at-bats. She doesn't have a hit yet. So let's see if Alexi can get her batting average going here with a pinch hit chance here in the bottom of the sixth. Looking for her first hit of the season. Takes the pitch low for ball 1. The Tigers with an 8-2 lead. 3 runs have come across here. Still with only 1 out. And now with 1 on with the pinch hitter, Alexi Johnson. Johnson grounds it to short. Coming up with it is the shortstop. Costello gets it over to the second baseman. Try to get the out at first. Not in time, but they do get the force out at second to retire Sellers for the second out of the inning. Inning up at first is Alexi Johnson on the fielder's choice.
For the Tigers, first baseman, number 13, Alex Steinmel.
And now there's 2 down with Johnson at first, and Steinmel comes to the plate. Alex Steinmel. Bats here in the bottom of the sixth with the Tigers ahead 8-2. Steinmel's 1 for 2. She was hit by a pitch her last time up. The count here, 1 ball, 1 strike from Andrea Reynolds. Now ball's outside for ball 2. Steinmel grounded out back to the pitcher in the first, singled in the fourth, and was hit by the pitch in the fifth. Bats here in the sixth for the Tigers. Takes the ball low, and count goes to 3 balls, 1 strike. On deck for the Tigers, Melanie Habib over at first base on the fielder's choice, Alexi Johnson. Ooh, that pitch floats just by the umpire, who calls it a strike. Now it counts full, 3 balls, 2 strikes with 2 down. Here in the bottom of the sixth, Andrea Reynolds trying to get out of this inning. She came in after the 3-run home run by Cassidy Gustafson. And she's just trying to, and the ball's grounded to Sotomayor at second. On to first to Nunez, and finally the 3rd out of the inning. But the Tigers score 3 runs on the 3-run bomb by Cassidy Gustafson to take an 8-2 lead. We're going to head to the top of the 7th inning. Come on back.
3, Brianna Warner.
Welcome back to Stockton, California, on the campus of University Pacific. The Pacific Tigers have an 8-2 lead over the UC Davis Aggies. We're in the top of the 7th inning. Marissa Young on the mound. Pitched every inning for the Tigers so far. She's given up 5 hits through 6 innings. And only 2 runs. She struck out 3 so far. At the plate for the Aggies is Brianna Warner. Warner 1 for 3 with a single in the 3rd inning. Runs up and takes the pitch outside for ball 2. Actually, it was called a strike, so it's 1 ball, 2 strikes to Warner, with Amy Nunez scheduled to bat next. Oh, nice piece of hitting. Little inside out, opposite field approach by Brianna Warner. And she gets on first with a nice single to left field. And coming up is number 8, Amy Nunez. On at first is Warner with the single. Nunez 2 for 3 with 2 singles in the game so far. She's got the bat out for the bunt as Young pitches. The third baseman comes up with it on a bounce, but the ball is foul. Count goes to no balls and 1 strike. So the Tigers with an 8-2 lead here. Scored 3 runs in the first, added 1 in the second, 1 more in the 5th. At the time it was a 5-2 lead, and they scored 3 runs in the bottom of the 6th on a 3-run home run by Cassidy Gustafson to blow this game open a little bit. Young trying to finish this game, get the complete game. It'd be her second back-to-back complete game of the season. She had a complete game win last week in her last start. And she's ahead of Amy Nunez here. No balls and 2 strikes. And that pitch is floated outside for ball 1. We want to thank you for sticking with us tonight here in Stockton. You're listening on the Pacific Digital Network. My name is Jason Murray. We're here in the top of the 7th with a 1 ball, 2 strike count. Marissa Young on the mound facing Amy Nunez. The Tigers with an 8-2 lead. Nunez grounds to the first baseman. She comes up with it. Steinmel on to the shortstop. Habib covering for the first out here in the top of the 7th inning. Nice play on the fielder's choice. Ending up at first base is Nunez. Out on the play is Brianna Warner at second.
Designated player number 15, Alexis Carney.
Steinmel could have fielded the ball and went to first to get a sure out with a lead like this, but she went for the lead out for the lead runner, and she retired him. So it's a nice play by Steinmel. Good heads-up play. Alexis Carney at the plate now. 0 for 2 with a strikeout. With 1 down here in the top of the 7th. Marissa Young, this ball is lined by the second baseman and into right field for a base hit. Now the Aggies have 2 on with 1 down. A little mini rally for the UC Davis Aggies. The Aggies won the matchup against the Tigers earlier in the season 10-1. Now Pacific's trying to return the favor. The single by Carney, and Nunez moves up to second. And now coming to the plate.
Number 29, Megan Salazar.
The pinch hitter Salazar came in the 5th, top of the 5th, the pinch hit for Lodazinski. And now she's here in the 7th. And she takes the first pitch from Marissa Young for a strike. Salazar last time up walked. This time she swings and it's strike 2. Young got her on that pitch. So we have Alexis Carney at first. On at second is Amy Nunez with one down here in the Aggie 7th inning. Tigers an 8-2 lead. Looking to put it away as Marissa Young and get a complete game win. And that pitch is outside for ball one. The count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. To Megan Salazar. On deck is Kelly Zabrowski for the Aggies as Salazar swings and misses for strike 3. And that's the 4th strikeout of the ball game. For Marissa Young. And there's 2 down here in the top of the 7th. 1 more out to go for the complete game for Marissa Young. She's given up 7 hits, allowed only 2 runs. The Tigers, on the other hand, have got 11 hits with 8 runs. Neither team has committed an error in this game. Just a lot of zeros put up there by Young. And she has an 0-1 count to Kelly Zabrowski with 2 down and 2 on. And that pitch called a ball by home plate umpire Martin Vandenberg. And 1 ball, 1 strike count. It's low for ball 2. So the count goes to 2 balls, 1 strike. Here we are on the top of the 7th. The Tigers starter Marissa Young trying to get the complete game and put away the Aggies and break up their 3-game winning streak. Ooh, that pitch is called strike 2, and the count is now full, 3 balls and 2 strikes. So the Aggies are down to their final strike here in the top of the 7th. They trail 8-2 with 2 on. Marissa Young looking for the complete game. Her second outing, her second opportunity for a complete game this year. Oh, that one's rolled in there for a ball 4, and it gets away from the catcher, Rachel Sellers, but she pounces on it. But the runners move up 90 feet. On at first is Zabrowski with the walk. Down to third goes Nunez, and into second goes Carney. The base is full of Aggies.
Center fielder number 28, Krista Baba.
As Krista Baba comes up, Krista Bava. And the coach wants to talk it over with Marissa Young, see how she's feeling. She only needs 1 out to go, but you still don't want to risk hurting the young lady just to record a complete game. So they're just talking it over. The bases are full. She's just going to try to tell her to stick to what works. She's come this far. She's going to stick with her. So with 2 down and the base is full, coming to the plate is Krista Bava. Bava 1 for 2 on the night. She walked in the second, doubled in the 4th, and scored the 2nd run of the game. And Young pitches 1 ball, no strikes. The pitch was outside. Bases are full of Aggies here, 8-2 in the top of the 7th with 2 down. And that pitch to Bava's fouled off, and the count goes even. 1 ball, 1 strike. With the count 1 ball, 1 strike, bases full of Aggies with 2 down here in the 7th. Young gets Bava to foul it off. Now she has 2 strikes on her. Trying to finish the game here and get back-to-back complete game wins for the Pacific Tigers. Marissa Young, the freshman, coming off being voted the West Coast Conference Pitcher of the Week last week. Looking to keep her consecutive shutout or her consecutive complete game streak going. Her last complete game, it was a shutout where she stranded 5. She struck out 5 and only gave up 3 hits. The 1-ball, 2-strike pitch. Did she go? They checked down at third base. Yes, she did. Crystal Bava couldn't hold up. She checked swing. Unfortunately, she went around, and that's going to be the 5th strikeout of the game for Marissa Young. She records her 2nd straight complete game here for the Pacific Tigers. The Tigers in a 5-game homestand with a record of 4-1. Their record on the season goes to 14-33. The UC Davis Aggies fall to 17-23 on the season. Marissa Young gets the win. The record improves to 6-4. She allows 2 runs on 7 hits while striking out 5. Taking the loss for the UC Davis Aggies is Andrea Reynolds. The big hit in the game for the Tigers, the 3-run home run by Cassidy Gustafson deep into the night in the bottom of the 6th inning to stretch this lead for the Tigers. A great performance by Marissa Young here, the freshman, to improve on her somewhat great season so far. We're going to end this game here from Stockton, California. Thank you for joining us here from Bill Simon Field on the campus of the University of Pacific. My name is Jason Murray, and we are signing off, and we'll see you next time.